The Florida panther is a nocturnal predator located in southern Florida. With exceptional eyesight and an impressive sense of smell, the Florida panther sits at the top of its food chain. Pinelands, hardwood hammocks, and mixed swamp forests provide the ideal home for the solitary Florida panther, as well as a vast area of hunting grounds. The Florida panther is an essential umbrella species, keeping pestiferous prey populations balanced and healthy, as well as protecting various plants and animals that live within its range. With fewer than 100 wild panthers living in all of South Florida today, the Florida panther is one of the rarest large mammals in the world. The Florida panther does not migrate. Instead, it will disperse and find a new territory to live in, usually one that has an abundance of resources and no other competition. They follow the density-dependent habitat selection theory. The biggest human-induced threat to its survival is habitat loss. Therefore, conservation efforts are constantly being put to use to help the population thrive. Florida panthers are extremely territorial. In an article written by Sawyer, she explains that a single male requires an average of 200 square miles in order to properly function. The Florida panthers are descendants of the cougar species. These ancestors once roamed over much of North and South America until human interference in hunting left the species confined to southwest Florida. According to Roelke of sciencedirect, this resulted in a complete decimation of the species, leaving the population at the numbers we see today. Liza Gross of PLOS Biology notes in her article that Florida panthers use pheromones and physical signs such as claw markings or feces to define their territory. During mating season, male Florida panthers will venture beyond their territories to find a female to breed with. If another male is found to be in competition for the same female, the two males will likely fight until the other submits. Human-mediated environmental changes will most certainly affect the future behavior and physiology of the Florida panther in regards to territoriality. M.J. Robinson, in his article Petition to Reintroduce the Endangered Florida Panther, attributes urban and industrial development, agriculture, road construction, and resource extraction to increasingly degrading the habitat in the southeast region of Florida, pushing the Florida panther into a lower quality habitat. This not only leaves the panther's prey base unsupported, but also interferes with panther travel, denning, and foraging as a result of brush clearing. Author Melissa Kreye of sciencedirect explains that habitat loss is by far the most critical threat towards the extinction of the Florida panther. Habitat degradation also increases intraspecific competition behavior between the remaining panthers over the limited available resources. Hence, the species becoming even more aggressive in regards to territoriality, leading to panthers killing other panthers in exchange for a broader territory. An additional hindrance on the species as a result of habitat degradation also leaves a detrimental mark on the mating behaviors of the Florida panther. Due to continuous habitat loss and reduced territories, male Florida panthers will resist breeding due to being forced into unnatural behaviors associated with these smaller territories. Leonard Pearlstine of the University of Chicago Press Journals explains that this has resulted in males killing females around their reduced territories, including those that have kittens. I am interested in territoriality in the Florida panther, and I am interested in how Florida panther territoriality is influenced by habitat degradation. Because I have learned that habitat degradation is disturbing the proper functionality in the Florida panther, I hypothesize that Florida panther population size is dependent upon the amount of available habitat. I predict that the Florida panther population will decrease over the next 10 years. I predict these changes would result from the continuous degradation of habitats that are currently being utilized by the Florida panther. I would investigate this relationship by reaching out to the Florida Wildlife Conservation and obtaining data that correlates with the described hypothesis and compare the initial data collected amongst the data obtained over the next 10 years. I have found my perception of the Florida panther has changed from an initially defensive view to now a more empathetic view. I used to think the Florida panther was nothing more than a savage beast. Now all I feel is sadness for what the species has become. These animals have been on this planet far longer than humans have. In the short time that humans have lived here, the destruction of multiple species' habitats has occurred. The Florida panther is no different. What was once a strong, powerful, and respected beast is now struggling to survive in its own home. Although conservation efforts have been implemented, the damage has already been done. Although I fear the species will never recover, I have to hold out hope that one way or another, the Florida panther will once again thrive and regain in numbers. The Florida panther